Okay, good evening, everyone. We are live. We sincerely apologize for the late broadcasting. It is due to the network fault in Zambia here in Central Province. We're having some difficulties in network. Otherwise, we are back. My name is Israel Matatiaos Kazwe.
My name is Danyahu Ben Israel.
Yes, so just chosen to start a discussion on a live Facebook chat. We have some different topics which we are going to be showing in the next few days. But today, the only topic we are going to discuss with you is about the mystery of the Genesis serpent. So there's a lot of mysteries to the Genesis serpent. I think a lot of us leaders and scholars of the Bible, I think we are having a lot of difficulties in understanding this Genesis chapter 3. What was the serpent which was interacting with Eve? It is very difficult to come up with solutions and answers to the same questions. So we have arrived today on this platform to help a lot of people understand, since the set apart spirit, the Holy Spirit, has just helped us to understand it, so we need to share it with you. Otherwise, we're going to be surprised at the end of this discussion. Actually, before we go any further, allow me to start by saying, a person who writes a story has a better understanding than a person who reads a story. That means the story of the Genesis chapter 3 was written by Moses 4,000 years after the fall of man. So when he was writing the history, not the future. So what he was writing something which has already passed. Yeah, so when he was saying that the serpent was more cunning than any other animal, we need to know, because it wasn't the same time that, in Genesis, that Moses was writing that story. He wrote the story as a history, as a historical story, as an historical account.
Yes.
So we're going to start. First of all, we're going to begin in Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Our brother is going to read it for us, so read it loud.
3 verse 1. Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made.
Okay. Okay, just there. We are just getting the message from Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. It is saying that the serpent was more craft or cunning than any other animal of the world. Of the world, yes. So the issue here is that a serpent is put in the set of animals. But let's see from Genesis chapter 1 verse 24 if animals were created with that evil mindset, with that cunning mindset. How did our Creator created the animals, the animal world? So we're going to read Genesis chapter 1 verse 24.
Genesis 1:24.
Yes.
24 reads, And God said, Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds.
According to their kinds.
Livestock, creatures,
yes,
that move along the ground.
Animals
and wild animals, each according to its kind.
Okay.
And it was so.
So the Creator created animals, creeping things, everything which concern animal kingdom, even the creeping things, the reptiles and whatsoever. He created them, He Himself. But how come this serpent became more subtle than the other? So did He create it perfect or what? Let's jump to chapter 25.
And Yahuwah made the wild animals according to their kinds.
He made the animals according to their kind.
The livestock according to their kinds.
Livestock according to their kind.
And all the creatures that move along the ground according to their kinds.
So everything their kind. But how come the serpent became evil?
And God Elohim saw that everything was good.
Then what the Creator created was good. Everything that He created was good, according to the creation account. Everything, like animals, the creeping things, everything was good. That's chapter 31, verse 31, eh?
25.
Then jump to 31.
31. God saw all that He had made, and it was very good.
Come again?
God saw all that He had made.
All that He has made.
And it was very good.
It was very good, including the snakes.
Including the snakes, yeah. Everything.
Everything was good, including the snakes, not the serpent, but the snakes. The snakes were good.
And there was evening.
There was evening.
And there was morning.
And morning.
In the 60th day.
That was the 60th day. So we are getting this story from Genesis chapter 1, verse 31, saying everything that God created was good and perfect. Even snakes were perfect, were good. But how come when we jump into the 3rd chapter of Genesis, we found that the serpent was more clever than any other beast of the field? So, in the Hebrew culture, in the ancient Semitic mindset, we have a lot of sayings, we have a lot of language terminology, language usage, like we have hyperboles, we have smears, we have exaggerations, similitudes, all kind of languages like that, in that order. So in order for you as a reader to understand the person who was writing that story, you need to possess the mind of the author. You cannot understand the story which is being written, which is being displayed in a book, if you do not possess the mind of the author.
Yes.
So you need to have the mind of the person who wrote the story for you to be in line with the story.
Exactly.
You cannot understand any story minus doing that. That's why we need to, if it was Moses who wrote the story, he was being inspired by the Holy Spirit to write the story. Moses, we need to enter into Moses and become like Moses, so that when I'm reading that story, I'll be understanding the way Moses used to understand. Moses was not writing the present thing, he was writing the history which has passed. When the serpent came into the garden, we need to understand what kind of a serpent was that. Yes. So we are going to discuss, we are going to see what is the similitude of the serpent. What is the picture, or what does it signify? So we're going to start to go into the Messianic writings in the New Testament. We're going to see in the 12th chapter of the book of Revelation, verse 9. We go to Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9. Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9. We need to explain the term serpent. The term serpent, the usage of the term serpent. How was it used during those days by the authors of those days? Can that term be referred to a person? Can it be referred to an animal, or what? So we're going to check in the scriptures. If it referred to a person, then that serpent of Genesis chapter 3, it is not a literal serpent, but a spiritual serpent, not a little serpent like the snake which moves, because a snake literally cannot speak to a person. So how did it speak to Eve?
So Revelation chapter 12 verse 9 reads, the great dragon was cast down, that ancient serpent.
So this dragon is labeled as the ancient serpent,
called the devil
in other names is called the devil
or Satan,
or Satan, the adversary.
who deceived the whole world.
This serpent deceived the whole world. And I don't know if it is the snake which deceived the whole world. Because here it is saying that it is the serpent which deceived the whole world. The whole world was deceived by the serpent, not by the snake. So this one is not talking about the literal snake. It is talking about the serpent, the devil. The devil was just compared to a serpent after the fall of a serpent. After a serpent became clever. So Moses was just picturing, just making some comparison between the craftiness of the little snake to the craftiness of the devil himself, the spiritual being.
Yes.
So this serpent in Revelation chapter 12 verse 9, it is the devil, the spiritual being, not a snake. So we go also to Revelation chapter 20 verse 2.
20 verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
2 reads,
Mm-hmm.
He seized the dragon,
Mm-hmm.
that ancient serpent,
Okay.
who is the devil or Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years.
Okay, so again we get the second witness that the serpent is the devil, not the snake. So that being which came to interact with Eve in the garden wasn't a snake, a little snake. It was a serpent. The term serpent is just used there because the serpent, the little serpent, is like cunning. When it bites you, you cannot even see it. It is very fast in doing all things. So the character was just grabbed and compared to the way the spiritual being called serpent works. So the other name of this serpent is the devil. So in Genesis chapter 3, it is talking about the devil, not a little serpent. Okay? We're going to move on. Now we are going to into the book of Matthew chapter 3 verse 7. So
Matthew chapter 3.
we go to Matthew chapter 3 verse 7.
Matthew
Yes.
3 verse 7.
Yes.
7 reads,
Mm-hmm.
I said to the seat, Sure, you will fear me and accept. No, sorry.
Okay.
Matthew's.
Yes. Matthew chapter 3 verse 7. I think it's a story of John the Baptist, chapter 3 verse 7 of Matthew.
3 verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
But when he saw men of the Pharisees and Sadducees,
Okay, this is John when he came into contact with the Pharisees. People were called hypocrites, those who can clean the inside and leave the outside dirty, who can clean the outside and leave the inside dirty, rather. Okay.
when he came to the Pharisees and Sadducees, to where there was baptizing,
What happened?
he said to them, You blood of vipers,
you bloody vipers.
who warned you to flee from the coming wrath?
Okay, so the Pharisees were called or were labeled as vipers. Do you know what a viper is? So John the Baptist was not literally saying that these people have changed from being humans into a little viper. But the character of a viper was manifested in what? In a human. The same way that a viper can just destroy you in seconds. That's how those Pharisees became. They can teach people how to become instrument of destruction, because them were the instrument of destruction. So they would teach people how to become the instrument of destruction, to destroy themselves. So John the Baptist labeled them as vipers, not because they were spiritual, not because they were little vipers. Okay, we're going to move on. Chapter 23, verse 23, the same Matthew.
Matthew 23.
Verse 23.
Verse 23.
Yes, you can read.
23 reads,
Mm-hmm.
Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees.
This is the Messiah speaking. He's saying what?
Woe to you,
Woe to you,
teachers of the law,
you teachers of the law,
and Pharisees.
and the Pharisees,
You hypocrites, you give a tenth of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin, but you have neglected the more important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. You blind guides, you strain out of the nut, but swallow a kernel.
A camel. Okay, so these Pharisees also here, the Messiah was just telling them in chapter 8 of John that you are the sons of the serpent, that old serpent. So again, this is just a language terminology. It is not talking about literal serpent. It is not saying that now the Pharisees are crawling down on the ground. It is only saying that these people have inherited strange behaviors, animal behaviors. They're not acting like humans. You see, this is what was happening. Again, we're going to a verse in the book of Matthew 10, verse 16, to get the last witness about the terminology of serpent.
Matthew 10, verse 16.
Yes. 10, 16.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
16.
Verse 16, yes.
I am sending you out like sheep among wolves.
Okay, so I'm sending you like sheep among wolves. So the sheep, so what kind of a creature is the sheep? So the Messiah is getting the character of a sheep and imparting it into the disciples, saying that you are like a sheep. Meaning a sheep is a kind of an animal which is very humble, very soft. You know, hopefully everyone knows that. But as you are going to that place as humble like a sheep, what are you going to do? Continue.
Therefore, be as clever as snakes.
Be as clever as a snake.
And as innocent as doves.
So two animals are the two animals and a bird. So the dove is a symbol of holiness, and the serpent is a symbol of cleverness, and the sheep is a symbol of humbleness also. So he's teaching them that the way as you are going to be preaching among these people, these clever people like who are like serpents, you need to be clever also like serpent, because if they go this way, you have to go to that side again. You need to be clever. You don't need to be like to be deceived by them. So you need to be as clever as a serpent, but not a literal serpent. So what happened in the book of Genesis chapter 3? How come the scriptures is saying that the serpent was talking? So the talking serpent here in Genesis chapter 3, it is the spirit of the devil. The interaction between Eve and the serpent was not a physical interaction.
No.
It was a spiritual interaction.
Yes.
The devil came through the mind of the woman, Eve. He came through the mind of the woman. Then, in that mind, the devil was talking to Eve, like giving her some ideas about how they were living in that Garden of Eden. So, as the devil was talking, that talking and that word he used to speak to that woman is what is called a fruit. So, the message was getting better. Like, but what this creature is, this idea just getting now is, I think it's much better. So that's why Moses wrote saying the fruit was desirable for food. Have you seen? So we go to Genesis chapter 3 now. Chapter 3 verse 6. This is how a woman was tempted.
3 verse 6.
Yeah, 3 verse 6. This is how the woman was tempted.
When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it.
Okay.
She also gave some to her husband who was next to her.
Have you seen?
And he ate it.
So by the time Eve was being deceived by the devil, Adam was just next to her. Adam was next to Eve. Eve was here. He wasn't. Like we have a lot of pastors who have been telling you, like I've just heard one song in Zambia here, that at the time Eve was being deceived, Adam went to look for some firewood somewhere else, I think beyond the garden. That was a story. That is a myth. That's just a mythology story. So according to what we are reading here, by the time Eve was being deceived by the devil, her husband was just next to her. But the deception came through the mindset. It was the mindset of Eve which was deceived. After being deceived, we are told by Moses, read it again.
6. When the woman, now let me just go further. She also gave some to her husband who was close by, who was with her.
Okay.
And he ate it.
So this woman gave the same fruit to a man who was just close to her.
Or next to her.
Or just next, the same way we are sitting here.
Now, can you imagine, just to add on, imagine if Adam wasn't present there, because he could have stopped the woman from listening to the serpent. But because that temptation was just taking place in the mind, that's why he didn't know. He didn't know that my partner here is being deceived. So that was just a mindset. Something was telling her, you can do this, you can be God, you can do this on your own without any intimidation or without following any instruction from someone. So it was just taking place in the mind. That's why Adam didn't know. So the moment Eve shared that knowledge or that idea, my husband, can't we just do it? Can't we just be on our own? The moment Adam accepted that idea, it was the fruit now. They ate that fruit. The moment you just accept that idea, you accept those weights, you eat that fruit, and the death entered that very day. We are going to prove that those weights were the fruit, not the literal or physical fruit. No, there was no physical snake, no talking snake. It was the mind. The snake was just in the mind, just like the time of Yahusha, who you call Jesus. The Bible said the snake or Satan tempted Jesus. They didn't say the snake went to Jesus crawling on the floor and started talking to Jesus. The Bible says the Satan tempted Jesus.
Yes.
Now in the movies they will show that it was a snake
to deceive
but
you.
The Bible says the Satan tempted Jesus. How did he tempt Jesus? It was in the mind.
In the mind.
After 40 days of fasting, then the mindset came, you have that power, you can turn this stone into a bread. Then Jesus, being clever and full of wisdom, he realized that this is Satan. This is the idea of Satan. He just quoted the scriptures, and Satan brought another temptation of jumping on the hill. So again, it was just on the mind. You have this power. God has given you this power. You can jump. Then Jesus realized that this is just a temptation from Satan. So even to Adam there, it was just a spiritual thing taking place in the mind.
In the mind.
We can now continue. So
there is a world in the mind. So it was the interaction of the mind, not a literal interaction. Only two people were literal in the garden, Adam and Eve. Anything which was happening, it was in the mind. The fruit was spiritual. Even the serpent was spiritual. It was the idea the serpent was sharing to them. by accepting that idea, you accept the idea. It is more like you were chewing and now you have swallowed it. It is good for food because the idea has made sense to you. So how do we get tempted? Someone has been tempted today. How were you tempted? Were you physically tempted or spiritually tempted? How did the temptation come? Let's check in the 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13. Let's see the nature of temptation.
1 Corinthians
10 verse 13.
10:13.
Yes. This is the nature of
no temptation has fallen you except what is common to man.
Except what is common to a man.
And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear.
Exactly.
But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can stand up under it.
Okay. Read again verse.
No temptation
has fallen you
except what is common
just
to
there.
Man.
So the temptation which fell on Eve was a common temptation which can fall to you, to me, to everyone, which has also fallen to the Messiah, which the Messiah came out victorious.
Yes.
So every temptation is common to all of us as human beings.
Yes.
How did it come? Okay, let me just give an example of that. The example is like I'm married to someone, then a woman is just passing who is also married. Then in my mind, as I'm looking at that woman, the Messiah was saying this also. As I'm looking at that woman, the idea of the devil will be, but this one looks more better than your wife at home. Look at David. After he saw Bathsheba birthing that other side, David was given that idea by the serpent, telling him that this one should be yours. Just look at how she looks. Forget about that one. Forget about that husband of his. Just grab her for yourself. That's how the devil speaks to us. Yes. By accepting that idea, it is more like we have eaten the fruit, which is forbidden, the forbidden fruit. So that now there is one mystery here. Who was deceived by the serpent? Was it Eve or was it Adam? Was it Eve or was it Adam? So we need to know, because we have been told on verse 6 that Eve and Adam were just next to one another.
They were together.
They were together, here and here. The Eve was just next to.
Just around, they were with them.
Now, who was deceived? And how did the deception came? If it wasn't through the mind, if it wasn't via the mindset. So if it was through the mindset, then we agree on the scriptures. Because Adam was like here, Eve here. So after getting the idea from this place, the idea was transferred from him to the wife, to the husband, yeah. So we're going to read again chapter 3, verse 6.
Genesis.
Yeah. Then we jump on verse 10.
Genesis 3, verse 6. When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was close by with her.
The husband was close by. So he was close by. So this husband did not hear the sound of the serpent or the voice of the serpent. No any word from the serpent was heard to a man. Only a woman was doing the interaction with the devil. You're getting it? Jump to verse 10.
Verse 10.
After the coming back of the
owner, he answered, I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid.
Okay. At the time the Creator was coming back like to check on them, he found that they were deceived. in the mind. When your mind is deceived, your mind is going to destroy your body. Your body and your mindset are going to destroy your environment. So when the Creator himself came back in the garden, like to check on them, he found that they have destroyed it. So he knew that something is wrong. So he went to Adam. When Adam said, I was naked and I've just decided like to run away. Continue.
And he said, who told you that you were naked?
Have you seen?
Have you eaten from the tree from which I commanded you not to eat?
Come again.
Then, I repeat it. I repeat it.
Repeat.
And he said, who told you that you were naked?
Just there. When he created them, he just transferred them from the place he created them to where? To the garden. There, they were perfect. Then he went away. At the time he came back, he found that they were just giving him a story that we are naked. But the time you were going, we are clothed. But now we are naked. So what was the nakedness? Then the Creator is asking, who told you that you are naked? Because God knew that these people have been told that you are naked. Then who used his voice to tell them that you are naked? Then he asked, he said, have you eaten from the fruit, from the forbidden fruit? That means eating from the forbidden fruit is hearing the false information, the misinformation.
Yes.
So he was connecting after accepting that evil information. They ate the fruit. Go on.
Verse 12. The man said, the woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it. 13. Then Yahuwah Elohim said to the woman, what is done? The woman said, the serpent deceived me, and I ate.
Have you seen now? So Adam was questioned by the Creator. Why have you done this? Then Adam said, it is this woman you have given me. It wasn't me. It wasn't through me, but it was through this woman you have given me. Then the question went to Eve. What have you done, Eve? Then Eve said, it was the devil who deceived me. So the devil deceived Eve. Then Eve passed the deception to her husband. The husband was not deceived by the serpent, by the wife. So it came through Eve, then to Adam, then Adam, and the whole land was defiled at the exact time. How do we prove this? Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13 to 14, as we are going to conclude our topic for today. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13 to 14, as we are going to conclude our topic today.
First Timothy.
Yes, chapter 2. Go to verse 13 and 14.
It's not chapter 2.
Chapter 2?
Yeah, there is one chapter.
Is this
2 pages. Chapter 2, verse?
Go to verse 13.
13.
I think somewhere here.
13 reads, For Adam was formed first.
Was first formed.
Then Eve. 14. And Adam was not the one deceived.
Adam was
not the one deceived.
Adam was not the one deceived. Who was deceived then?
It was the woman.
It was the woman who was
deceived
and
became a sinner.
the man was not deceived by the serpent because the serpent did not enter through the mindset of a man. The mindset of a man was sharp. So he decided to enter through the weaker vessel. After entering through the weaker vessel, and the weaker vessel managed, like she managed, like, to convince Adam. These behaviors, like a woman can convince you sometimes, yeah. So a man can be weak to a woman. That's why the devil deceived a woman so that a woman would deceive a man.
Remember, we just read in Genesis that when Eve was being tempted, or when she ate that fruit, the husband was with her. So if Adam was with her, and that snake, if it was physical or physically like, then Adam would have stopped the woman from
being deceived.
But now, since Adam didn't know anything, that my partner here is being deceived, that's why it was just the information, the knowledge, the mindset. So that knowledge passed to Adam, and Adam accepted.
By accepting
everything, they ate that fruit. So in part 2, we are going to know now what was the fruit. What was the fruit, and how can this fruit be pleasing, be so good that it is pleasing the eyes? And this fruit, how can it be in the middle of the garden? And imagine
in the middle of the garden.
And this fruit, how come this fruit, when you eat, you know good and evil? Which fruit is that? So in part 2, we are going to break down everything. We must know what was that fruit.
What was the fruit?
And how can this fruit be pleasing and you eat it? What does it mean? We are going to dig deeper into scriptures to find what was that fruit which you eat that gives you knowledge. We have to know that in part 2.
Don't miss, and make sure you go through the scriptures we have just provided. Actually, just repeat the video. You check the scriptures to verify for yourself before you accept the message. So today we're going to end here, but I think by tomorrow we're going to come up with this deeper topic, the part 2 about the fruit. What was the fruit? Because he told him that the same day you are going to eat this fruit, you are going to die. The same day you are going to die. The same day when you eat the fruit, you are going to die. So the same day he ate the fruit, he did not die physically, but he died what?
Spiritual.
Meaning he ate the what? Spiritual.
Yeah.
If you eat the spiritual food, you will be satisfied spiritually.
Yeah.
If you eat a physical food, you will be satisfied physically.
We have given you a leakage. So now we need to bring out scriptures from other authors or from other books.
From other books, yes.
That are going to prove that fruit was this and this and this.
And this fruit,
and when you eat that fruit, when you eat that spiritual fruit, you are going to be satisfied.
And a lot of us, we are saying, Adam, they were told to not to eat, but how come did they eat? You have been eating the same fruit which Adam and Eve ate. Okay.
And just to give you a leakage, in part 2 it will be amazing. Let me just give you a one verse.
Yes.
Which is going to prove that tree wasn't a physical tree. Let's read the Proverbs 18.
Proverbs 18?
What was that tree? Proverbs 18, verse 20 to 21.
Okay, just quick. Our manager and our
finish
director
it
is saying
in part 2.
We have gone off the time. The Proverbs is here.
Yeah. Proverbs 18, verse 20.
So we are here to expose some misinformation which we are getting from different scholars.
18 verse 20.
Yes.
from the fruit of his mouth. Sorry, I'm not. This verse we are going to read it in
tomorrow.
But I'm talking about the three. It's Proverbs 3 verse 18, not 18. Sorry.
3:18. We are giving you some leakages, and tomorrow we are going to still come Proverbs back with the much
verse 18. What was that 3? 3 verse 18. She is a tree of life to those who embrace her. Again, she is a tree of life to those who embrace her.
What is this?
What is this?
Who is this woman? This
the
woman
tree of life
is knowledge. Knowledge. When you read chapter 3, starting from verse 1, you find that King Solomon was saying, my child, hearken unto my knowledge, my sayings, because it is like she is a tree of life. Knowledge is a tree. Wisdom.
Solomon was talking about the wisdom. She is like a tree of life.
Tree of life.
And remember in the Garden of Eden, God said, you shall not eat from the tree of knowing what?
Good and evil.
The tree of life, of knowing good and evil. So Solomon is breaking down for you that wisdom, she is like a tree of life.
The personification.
Have
you seen that? Shabbat Shalom. Happy Sabbath. Okay.
Next time.